Now, the next game up is the Bears against the Giants. It was a slugfest and featured a brutal injury that NFL fans hate to see. The Giants quarterback Daniel Jones struggled on Sunday against the Bears defense, something I expected, which is why I had the Bears defense starting in fantasy, and they got me 23 points. Now, Jones threw just 240 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick in Sunday's matchup, and failed to move the ball consistently and effectively. Saquon's injury is probably the biggest story coming from the Giants team, as he is officially out for the remainder of the season. I mean, he's a true playmaker for the Giants, and I truly believe this loss makes the playoffs next to impossible for the Giants this season. Granted, Saquon didn't play well in week 1, but that O-line was the main reason for that. Saquon was getting touched before he even made it to the line of scrimmage on every other run. Now, what this does open up, though, is room for Dion Lewis, who had 14 touches in the wake of Saquon's injury, to show himself as a true running back option, not only for the Giants, but for other teams heading into this offseason. Lewis hasn't found much top-tier success in the NFL outside of New England, so it'll be great to see him get another chance with the Giants. And for fantasy owners who lost to Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley, Dion Lewis is a brilliant pickup. He shines in the pass game, but will now have to cover for the majority of the run game, though the Giants did just sign Devontae Freeman, so give it a week or two in order for us to really see who's going to lead that Giants run game. For this week, if you lost Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley in fantasy, pick up Dion Lewis, just because I don't think Devontae Freeman's going to be completely up to speed in 3 days before their next matchup. I don't think he's going to be there yet. So pick up Dion Lewis just for now, just for this week. He's going to lead in running back touches this week. That's pretty much a guarantee. Considering Daniel Jones hasn't been playing amazing, they're going to run the ball. And at the very least, Dion Lewis is a pretty solid pass catcher as a running back. But maybe after next week, you might want to switch it up a bit. See, pay attention to those practices. Pay attention to those reports on Devontae Freeman, because give it a week and a half and he could very well be the lead back for the Giants in the run game. They could very well start running a running back duo between Dion Lewis and Devontae Freeman. Dion Lewis covering the pass game, Devontae Freeman covering the run game. Now expect Dion Lewis to put up a solid 10 to 15 points a game on average in PPR leagues with the loss of Saquon for as long as Dion Lewis is the starting back. But again, the Giants are pretty much out of the playoff picture now unless Dion Lewis, Devontae Freeman, or Daniel Jones start putting up great numbers. I'm sorry, Giants fans, but with Daniel Jones not impressing in these first 2 weeks, and with Saquon out, I mean, it's really hard for me to say the Giants make the playoffs this season. But they could surprise me. Any team can at this point. Now, on the other hand, the Bears' offense didn't impress. After a great Week 1 performance, I was expecting Trubisky to have a solid game this week at the least. He disappointed, though, with 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. I was truly rooting for him this week, and I hope this isn't a sign that Trubisky is moving back towards the Trubisky of last season. I mean, for the Bears, the run game wasn't astounding either. Granted, they got over 100 yards on the ground, but coupled with just 190 through the air against the Giants' defense, it's simply not going to be enough offensive production to get this team into the playoffs. I'm genuinely worried for the Bears moving forward. I mean, their defense played great, but it was against the Giants without Saquon, so what do you really expect? I mean, they played the Lions and the Giants. They almost lost against the Lions, and they didn't play great against the Giants. I mean, the Bears and Trubisky need to find consistency. Otherwise, I would be counting the Bears out of the playoffs by week 6. I mean, they're 2-0 just because of the teams they've played against. They haven't played amazing. They definitely got to improve their game if they expect to make the playoffs this season.